The John Schneider Show on Wyman and Bob every Thursday until draft day with Seahawks President of Football Operations, John Schneider.
John Schneider here playing some air guitar to his open. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? We got the President of Football Operations and General Manager of your Seattle Seahawks, John Schneider, here for the aptly named John Schneider Show. How are you, man?
Good to see you guys. I'm mad at you guys. I was thinking about this morning.
Why?
4 o'clock. Yeah, 4:06. I woke up. And last week you guys were like, so everything's going. You guys sleeping good? Are your sleep habits good? Everything's fine? I'm like, yeah, I'm great. Why? And then this morning it happened, and I'm like, those guys.
We planned it.
It was like you guys. It was like, yeah, you were in my head. And then I woke up early and I could get back to sleep. I'm like,
sorry about that, man. We don't realize
Those
our
guys.
power at times.
If we could get in your head, though, we'd want to know, who you're picking.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us?
That's what we really want. I wish I'd worn my olive drab green shirt today.
We're like the two best friends that anybody's ever had.
this show is shifting.
It's supposed
Dave.
to be 3 Pearsons.
I've seen him out more than I've seen you now. I've bumped into my man twice now.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I heard about one of them.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah. Off air.
So, let's talk about the biggest story that seems to be going on in the building, which is, I guess, the removal of pictures or banners or whatever was going on there.
Picturegate.
Yeah, there's a lot of reaction. You're not on. You're not on social media, but there's a lot of reaction, as you might
filled
imagine.
in a little bit, yeah.
Tell us what led to it. Were you part of it? Was it something you've been thinking of?
No, just total, look, right outside the team room to the indoor facility.
Yeah.
A lot of, pictures and, slogans from, from Pete's, tenure here, like all the stuff we did together the last, 14 years. Awesome. But celebrating our history is all over this building. Mm-hmm. And so we're actually going a little more digital too. So we're going to have, these things are kind of falling apart off the walls here and stuff too. So we're going more digital. We're going to have TVs up. I was talking to Chuck about it this morning, actually. TVs up and just kind of celebrating the Dave Wyman tackles, if you will, or the face masks in the hole, or, the Kurt Warner runs and the Sean Alexanders and the Coach Holmgrens and the Coach Carrolls and the whole thing. But, right when you walk around the corner from the indoor facility, we have, the plates of every player that's played here and the pictures from all the guys, more recent guys and all that. So, and really in Mike's mind, it's kind of a, hey, we're celebrating our history, guys, get that. But we're going to make up our own. We're not coming in here with certain slogans and, leadership mottos and that sort of thing. We're going to build our own as a team. And so I think the players really embraced it. And, listening to Leo the other day, I thought he said it great. Hey, we're totally going to respect the past and everything that's happened here. And, we just got to move forward. So I've been in Green Bay and Kansas City and the Redskins. So you see, it's a young franchise, 1976.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're in those other franchises, there's areas that, they have a kind of a Hall of Fame area and then they're celebrating they're kind of building their own story as they go. I think we did it with Coach McCarthy in Green Bay too. Hey, this is a special area. Let's build our own history, and that's basically it.
Yeah, I went in there.
It's not hey, get out of here.
Yeah,
we're moving in now.
Why do you hate your successful years?
Step aside.
Get off
Step
my lawn.
aside. No.
Yeah, I went down to check, make sure my plaque's still up.
It is.
Yeah, when I heard
you
things
should have
were
pulled
taken
his down. It should have been the only one missing. That would have been such a.
That would have been.
I think Eric Metcalf would have pulled it down last week if he could have. I saw that picture. I was like, holy smokes.
Did he send that to you?
Yeah, he sent it to me.
Eric, if you're listening, I'm sorry. It was an accident.
It looked bad.
Totally was.
Yeah,
it
looked bad.
did look bad.
It looked like an accident.
It looked like The Exorcist.
Yeah, I showed that picture to DK, and he looks at me and goes, "That's a penalty, man."
Yeah. So anyway, no, the picture thing, I get it.
One of the pictures, you were in one of the pictures, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Did you fight to keep that one up?
That's the only one left.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's the only way we left up there. No, they're all down, man.
Yeah.
There's a couple in the background of we're jumping up and everybody's celebrating and everything.
But there's
probably a couple where I'm you can see me yelling at referees and stuff when I'm not supposed to be in the background, stuff like that. But no, those are iconic pictures. It'll be all over the place and throughout the building. It's amazing.
This went fast. A week
I know.
from now.
There's only one more, Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
just one.
There could be more. It's up to you. Your call. We're happy to talk to you whenever you want.
As many as you want. But so
Dave's over there going, yeah, there's one more.
Yeah. So where are you at as far as preparation, this phase of pre-draft preparation?
Yeah, we scraped the board for the 4th time with the scouts. So we got done with that Tuesday, and then yesterday we had basically a free agent day, which is studying all the guys that our staff deems as not probably not getting drafted or may not get drafted that we can focus on recruiting to a certain extent, and then tomorrow we'll start with the offensive staff. Saturday we'll go with the defensive staff. Sunday we'll have a review of differences, and then Monday, Tuesday will basically be Mike and myself.
What'd you say? Differences?
Differences from coaches to scouts. Mm-hmm. So if once they come in, we kind of adjust. Like, okay, well, they feel a little bit differently about this player or that player, and like by position, we'll not move yet. We'll kind of like shift them. We tilt them up, tilt them down, and then it's further discussion. Like, it's a good point. Maybe we should go back watch this. Maybe we should watch a certain cut up. Maybe we should watch a certain game, a certain matchup. What have we missed? Maybe they've enlightened us on a new scheme or role fit and that sort of thing. So we'll adjust off of that, and then Monday and Tuesday is really about the two of us just going through and saying, hey, player A, player B, player B, player C, C, D, all the way through from 1 through 7, and then then just Wednesday night, just so like Tuesday, Wednesday's a lot of phone talk with all the guys upstairs, all the other clubs, see who's moving where, who wants to move, and we've had general calls in that regard, but you don't necessarily get into the negotiating quite yet.
That's exactly what I was just going to ask you about, because you were in such a unique position last year sitting at 5. I would imagine you got a lot more calls coming your way, a lot more people testing to see if you wanted to move, if not. When does that start?
Yeah,
does
we
it
like
start
the
now?
spot. What's that?
When do those calls start? When do people start inquiring about your?
Couple days
we're
ago.
seeing these stories about the Patriots director of scouting. We're open for business,
Yeah.
and then the GM from the Chargers. Well, we're open, but we need to be blown away. They're putting it out there that we're ready. When are the calls already starting?
Yeah, we've noticed that a lot of teams lately have wanted to kind of get things done before, but we've never really operated in that manner. So you're basically, when that happens, you're basically listening to, philosophically, if we want to come up to 16, or, if you guys want to come from 16 up to whatever, this is what we'd be thinking. And then so you can just say, you can kind of like take them off your list, or, whatever. We're not even going to mess if we're not even close.
But is that a couple weeks before the draft?
That's probably I'd say about 5 days ago, that really kind of kicked in. Yeah. So this is Thursday, so yeah.
This may be a question like, naming your favorite child, but like, is there a position that you feel particularly confident about? Like your analysis, the way you guys approach it over the years, that you're like, I feel really good about my analysis of this position, whether it's a guard or a linebacker or edge rusher.
Did you say guard first?
I did.
Weird.
Weird because I'm right.
You guys looking at any guards?
Saying you need a guard.
Not looking at any guards.
I'm not clever enough to do that. I'm sorry.
Stop it, Stanford. No, I don't think so. I think like I told you last week, I struggled with linebackers when I started, and then Ted and Reggie and John Dorsey helped me out a lot with that in terms of writing and like what they were looking at. Safety is always a hard position in college football because they're not really involved very often. So now you can kind of get to these cut-ups that we discussed. You can watch them play point of attack plays, that sort of thing. And I would say those two positions over the years are positions that I had to work at and study harder. But being able to be around people like yourself and like ask the questions, and that helps a ton. The quarterbacks, quarterbacks was like right away, that whole group of people that we were around were, like the Coach Holmgren and Andy Reid and John Gruden and Mariucci and, Marty Morningwick, and then going to Kansas City with, doggone it, I'm sorry.
You got a lot of names in your head right now.
Yeah. Shoot. Anyway, this really talented quarterback people early on that were like, okay, this is the way it is, 1 through 5, and then you hit this, and then being able to be around different types of quarterbacks has really helped. And like I've told you guys before, we just have not, for one reason or another. It's a position you have to be really, really careful about reaching for.
Yeah. How hard is it to gauge O linemen? I remember when Tom Cable was here and we interviewed him, and he was talking about, the way they're taught at the college level. Even a number of years ago when we spoke to him, he's like, by the time they get here, it's like you're starting over. Like the way they're taught is almost foreign. You were talking about he's just as well off taking a defensive player and turning him into an O lineman, which seemed like a stretch. But what do you think? Is it hard to evaluate O linemen at the college level because of what they're not being asked to do, I guess, in the way Tom Cable talked about?
Well, they just don't exist. Like, we're kind of we've been going through a phase where we've talked about it's just more fun to play on the defensive line, right? So, you just, for one reason or another, the majority, like the lesser athletes, end up playing on the offensive line. But that being said, it's the one position where you have to have the cohesion and they have to play as one. And so, the intangibles that go into that position, the selflessness, the toughness, the brain, the instincts, the eyes, the communication skills, that stuff really, really has to stand out just as much or more so than the athlete. I would say it's easier now to identify the really good athletes because, again, you can see the difference in when these guys test the defensive lineman compared to the offensive lineman. And that's just the way football's been going.
Whenever I talk to my buddies that are O-linemen, intelligence always comes up. That offensive linemen, everybody assumes that they're smart, but not necessarily.
Dave doesn't,
yeah,
clearly.
I don't. I think they're dumb. Speaking of that, what about the Wonderlic test? Has that gone away, or is that still...
No, it's still around.
Still a big part of it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, there's still psychological testing that different teams use, different companies, and so, yeah. It's still a big part of what we're doing.
I would think
and it's just an alert. It's not it's to give you another set of questions to do more research. Just because a guy has a really high test score doesn't mean he's real high football intelligence. I worked with a guy that coached at Brown that was like, hey, look, I guys that like we're building rocket ships that we're rep guys. So there's guys that still need to go out and walk through, and everybody learns differently. So that's why I'm excited with this staff. Is really cool.
You think they're teachers?
They're so into the different, like, hey, this is how Dave learns, and this is how Bob learns, and this is how Dave Pearson takes in this information. Yeah. So,
is there anything you lean on now as an evaluator of talent that you didn't years past? Like, now I really focus on the interview more than I did, or I focus less on the Wonderlic than I used to. Now my focus is more about how they respond to this.
Great question. The person, that's a great... Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. Yeah.
I would have apologized to you, too, if you would have interrupted me. It's not just because...
I don't think so.
It's not just because we've become better friends over the last several weeks.
I guess.
No. During COVID, everything we did on Zoom, and the more, we did more. We had to do more and figure out a way. And so the Zoom interviews with the scouts do a phenomenal job. The coaches, obviously this coaching staff, a lot of guys, some college guys, and everybody's went through the COVID deal. So, and coming from different places, so their ability to everybody's so comfortable on it now. And so you can sit there and literally, we could sit there on the weekends and be studying and, have an interview going and be like, well, have you seen the interview with Dave yet? No, let's watch the interview with Dave. Yeah, because there's something stood out there. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, now there's a little alert. Okay, because look, the bottom line is once we have these guys in the building, we're still going to be learning them.
Right.
We've had guys that have left and come back, and we're still learning the personality, so that you're never truly, we never feel like we have it just locked up, and we're going to do everything that it takes in this building to, with the support staff. I've mentioned it, a ton of times. There's so many people here to help these guys be the best they could possibly be. But we're going to constantly be trying to learn these guys. So being able to see these interviews and be able to, that might be an alert. Let's ask that question. Okay, so yeah. So then, maybe we'll fly a guy in just because of that. Like, hey, you know what? We saved 5 spots out of our 30 in case something pops up later in the process. sweet. Now let's bring that guy in, do the studying, see how it goes.
I was listening to Belichick this morning, and he was talking about and same position that you've been in. You're drafting at the end of the draft because you've been so successful. And, he was just kind of talking through, like, is there a different mentality or whatever? I know that you've said, even though there's 32 picks in the first round, that doesn't mean there's 32 first rounders,
right.
But just sort of your mentality. And now you're at 16, kind of in the middle. Last year you got number 5, but is there challenges in that way, or kind of what's your mindset as far as those different positions in the first round?
Well, yeah, on average there's probably 15 to 20 depending on the year.
Your grade,
true, like first round.
Yeah,
this guy's a first round graded player. So when you're in the 20s, late 20s, you're really picking in the second round anyway. So why not acquire another pick is kind of the way we've looked at it. When we did the deal with Jamal, that was like, okay, 2 first-round picks. We're picking late. If you're acquiring a Pro Bowl player like Jamal, you're going to be giving up a first-round pick the following year to go from, I think we were like 26 to go all the way up to in the top 5 or top 7 to get a player like that. So, you're like, okay, well, we know we can acquire that sort of talent, so let's do that. But, yeah, the mentality is like, okay, you know what kind of caliber player you're getting. Now, how far back you're going to go, where's your cutoff? Like, okay, because now you can get into the third round pretty quick, too. Mm-hmm. You might only have, 15 guys in the second round or 18 guys in the second round. So, and usually what happens, the way it, because I've been looking at a lot of this stuff now, too, like, okay, you can say, all right, well, the quarterbacks are like, okay, 1 through 10, it's supposed to go, and it's pretty damn close. Then once you start getting into the teens, things kind of start getting kind of wonky, and then we call them upsets. The further you get away from that, then you're kind of like, all right, cool, like here's our board, here we go, like second, third day, like, okay, this is meat and potatoes now. This is like, these are the dudes.
Hey, you guys did something pretty cool. You brought in John Ryan for sign a one-day deal.
Yeah.
What goes into that, and would it ever happen for Dave Wyman?
Well, I don't think Dave's ever asked.
Did John ask?
Yeah, he asked.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he said, I want to retire as
he said he didn't want to retire as a CFL player.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he said, I can't do that. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's like, hey, do we? And other players have asked in the past. It just depends on where we are with the roster because you have to carry him for a day. So it was really cool deal. His wife Sarah had a party for him across the street at Dino's. They were here at like noon, and they're like, hey, you want to come over to Dino's? I was like, no, it's noon.
Yeah.
Address.
See you in a few hours.
But they were there like at, I don't know, stopped to grab a pizza there at like 7:30, and they were still there. I was like, you guys are Ubering, right? Yeah. No, it was fun. It was really cool thing to do. It meant a lot to him, and I was really happy for him. He always reminds me he's been fired twice in the NFL, and that I was the only person to do it. So. And then, but
what an honor.
The positive thing is that Reggie and I signed him in Green Bay, and he punted in the same place that you worked out. So
yeah,
we signed him there.
I was hoping that, like, if I did it, maybe there'd be a clerical error, and you'd sign me for the veteran minimum.
Dave would hold you to it. He'd say,
sorry, man.
Contract's a contract.
You signed it.
You're on the hook.
No, we wouldn't do that. I just had the standard retirement. No, just send in the letter. That's all. Doesn't matter. So you're not getting any sleep, it sounds like.
No, I was, and then that happened, and I was like, why am I up so early? I'm like, oh. Yeah. It was the radio show. I'm so nervous about doing the radio show today.
Yeah.
Okay. We're opposing.
That's why I'm up.
So there's something about Salk and his producer having a 200-yard race.
Yes.
Apparently.
Okay. Yes. I've heard about this.
So what do you have to add? Have you scouted him?
So I'm really concerned. I'm going to use
or?
the words concerned. I'm going to use those a lot. I'm very concerned about Salk's preparation. Okay. I'm not sure he's been constructing a proper plan for his
200-yard race.
Is it was a 200-yard? It's not 2 miles. It's not 2 miles.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just worried. Very worried.
You're worried about
for him? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely going more. I mean, I haven't hung out with Mora very much, but I've had a couple beers with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Mora.
Yeah.
But I'm just so concerned. He uses the word concerned so much. I have like a 20-minute gap in the morning, on my way, and I don't know. I put myself through it. I think he knows it. Oh, it's 7:20. Maybe we should
talk about
the roster construction. So concerned.
Well, we'll see how he runs.
I'm concerned about his hamstrings.
Yeah, well, if you listen to his ads, he lost like 75 pounds in 4 hours. So he used to be a parade float, and now he's a stick figure. It's amazing how quickly that happened for him. So he might be really, really fast. And
this is really going on though? I thought they were just kind of like bantering back and forth.
Yeah, I hadn't heard.
I heard about it from Dave. So I don't get up that early. I don't hear those things.
So hopefully there's not a pulled hamstring.
Oh, I said 7:20. I meant 5:20. Yeah, I'm usually coming to work at 5:20.
That's right.
Sorry,
that's right.
I apologize.
First one in the building. First one in the building. John, we appreciate you, man. We'll next week's going to be fun.
Yeah. So are we doing it at the same time and all that? Are we?
As far as I know, we are.
Okay, cool. So I'll tell you guys exactly what's going on then next Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Yeah, we won't tell.
Okay.
And nobody listens.
Okay. Because this still is the nest, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. We're in the tree.
We're in the trust tree.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, cool.
Then we'll go to Olive Garden after. It'll be good.
It'll be maybe
be
something
delightful.
we didn't know about. Yeah.
John, we appreciate
Appreciate
it,
you guys. Have a great evening.
There you go, John Schneider. We'll get into a bit of what we just heard coming up with Wyman and Bob.